Welcome to Johnny Works. Today's tool, Jig Saw. This is a Bosch 1591 EVS, barrel grip jig saw. Okay, it's a little heavy. It's about 10 years old. Cost me between us, I think it was like 139 bucks, something about that. It was, like I said, about 10 years old, so I kind of forget. Anyway, barrel grip. Okay, this thing can cut plywood, can cut trim, can cut lumber, can cut shapes, circles, everything. It's basically like a scroll saw. Okay, real small blades. All right, they make blades that cut hardwood. They make blades that cut softer wood like pine. They make blades that cut metal, soft metal like aluminum and thin brass. Okay, and this thing can do all of that as long as you have the right blade. Okay, and you just have to have a sure hand and take your time. This is probably one of the safer saws that I show. Okay, other than a hand saw, for an electric anyway, one of the safest ones. All right, because the blade is right underneath you here and it's out in front. So it's pretty hard to get hurt using this, so it's a good way to start. Okay, and if you didn't have a skill saw or something like that, you could cut 2x4s and things with this. All right. They make a variety of blades. You can buy a multi-pack. Gets a little pricey depending on what you're going to be cutting, but a regular pack of blades isn't much. You know, like $5-6 for like 3 or 4 blades, and they should last you as long as you're not doing nothing crazy, and don't snap them. All right. So I'm going to teach you what this one does, and most of these have these same type of little majiggies on here that make this thing work. I'm going to show you what this one does. This button here, this blade's going to pop out. Okay, all I do is push that lever and it pops this blade out. All right. So the blade will go in facing away from you. All right, goes right into that little hole right there. Okay, goes in facing away, facing forward, I should say, because you push this thing forward. All right, it locks in. Okay, and then this button right here pushes those two clamps, those two lobster claw things, and they hold that blade, the stabilizers. Okay, so that's what that red one's for. This one's to take it in and out. Okay. You open it up a little, it pulls those clamps apart, and if you keep pushing it, the blade's gonna come shooting out at you, all right? And that's how, the same way you put it back in. You put it in, it locks in, push that button, those clamps tighten on it, okay? So that's how you change, put in a new blade, and that's how you change a blade on this particular model. So, next thing, all right, so another thing about these blades, okay, I recommend. These things are actually called a T-shank, okay? It says it right on the thing. Come up and show you. T-shank, okay? Looks just like that. This is what we recommend, okay? You're probably mostly gonna find jig saws that are T-shank. I don't know if you'll find too many anymore unless you buy something used. All right, so we have a down cut blade. Okay, there's only 2 of them in this pack. Everything else is an upcut blade, a regular blade. Okay, this is a downcut blade. This would be for stuff like laminate. Okay, laminated countertops or laminated shelving or something with really nice finished plywood on it. You don't want it to chip. This thing actually pushes down through and it makes a nice clean cut on the top. Shouldn't be any chipping or splintering. Okay, that's what this blade's for. It's called a downcut blade. All right. Majority of This is my on and off switch, okay? The trigger handle ones, or I should say the ones with the loop on top, when you grab them, those triggers are usually right there. Mine, this one, it's on the sides. Once you push that, this thing's on, and it won't shut off until you pull it back, okay? Always start, always start with this thing down, away from your board, turn it on, and then slowly ease into your cut, okay? You don't want to start against it, because this thing, when you turn it on, it goes full bore on this model anyway. The ones with the little trigger, sometimes you can ease it, you can touch that board and ease into it and start cutting, but this one, you gotta back up, turn that thing on, and then ease into your cut, because if not, if you're against the wood, As soon as you hit that thing, it's gonna start cutting right away, and it might screw up the beginning of your cut, or it might kick back a little bit, all right? So, big difference. Make sure you know what you're buying, and make sure you're using the right blade for the right job, okay? And just like all the other saws that we discuss, the more teeth, the cleaner the cut. The less teeth, more aggressive, more like a skill saw or a sawzall or demo tool. That thing's just made for cutting. Right? So the more teeth, cleaner cut. They also have metal blades. The metal blades have a lot of teeth, and the teeth are usually smaller because metal's harder to cut and they get caught. So the teeth will be a lot shorter. They won't be big, jagged, sharp teeth looking things. They'll be short, okay, like a hacksaw. All right, those are made to cut through metal. And all these blades will tell you right on it. Hardwood, metal, tile, whatever it is, it'll tell you on that package. So So the orbital selector, okay, one purpose of this orbital selector, okay, would be cutting different type of wood. If you're cutting pine, you can turn this bad boy up and it can go, full bore, super fast, because pine's pretty easy to cut, all right? You want that thing to cut right through. It'll eat that thing like a saw, like a skill saw, okay? Fast. Now, if you're cutting oak or ash or mahogany or any kind of wood like that that's expensive and it's really hard, okay, they recommend a low setting on this, okay, because you don't want this thing to go full bore. It tends to put a burn on the wood. You'll smell it, it'll be smoky. It's like a burning smell, and you'll actually see the wood start to turn a little black as you're going through, because that thing going so fast it burns that hardwood, because the hardwood's hard to cut, okay? So if you set that selector on a lower setting with the blade on normal cut, it'll cut that thing nice and even, and it'll work its way through, and it won't be pushing that thing harder and burn that material, okay? So that's one good tip about the orbital selector. This thing right here is my chip blower, okay? If I want it on, I can pull it down and turn it on, or I can shut it off, all right? What that does is, as I'm cutting forward and I'm looking at my blade, so I'm following my cut line, okay? There's a little blower in there that will blow that stuff out. It'll blow the, basically the sawdust out of the way so I can see my line, okay? If that's off, it's just gonna build up and you won't see it. Not a big deal unless you're cutting something, nice and you want it nice and straight. If you're just cutting something rough, not a big deal. Okay, also, this thing right here has a lever, right here. There's a big red lever. This thing opens up and it allows me to bevel my table, okay? There's not a million times that you would do this if you're a beginner, but there is times that you will want to bevel your cut, okay? You can hold on this thing on a different plane, depends what you're cutting. If something's stationary, you can't remove it, you can make a cut like that, okay? Or if you're making something fancy, all right? Now you just gotta play with it and get it back to where you want it, okay? Push that lever back, lock this bad boy in, and now you're stuck. Now you're back to where you wanna be, okay? This one has a pretty long power cord. This thing has, I think it's a 6 foot, actually it might even be an 8 foot power cord. That's why I love this thing, okay? Doesn't get in your way. It's not like a little 4 foot cord or 3 foot cord. It is huge. This thing's like an 8 foot cord, all right? Plenty of room to cut, and you don't have to like keep fighting with your cord and screwing up your cut, okay? So this one's awesome for the cord. I would recommend looking for one that has a long cord, just for that reason. You don't want to be getting far with your cut and then have to stop and reset up because your cord's getting stuck because it's not long enough, okay? And then back here, there's a speed setting for the motor of this thing overall, okay? It goes from 1 to 6, all right? And as you see me cut, you'll hear the difference. You'll hear and you'll be able to see the difference. They do make, what do they call it? An overshoe, okay? That goes on this table, okay? It's plastic. Mine was clear. Can't find it, of course. I think someone borrowed this and I never got it back. So it's a plastic shoe, fits right over this thing. And when you're cutting some nice material, some nice finished wood, shelving, anything like that you don't want to get marked up, okay, by this thing, because it'll mark up stuff, especially if it's white or light oak or something. It'll mark it up a little bit when you run it across. That clear plastic fits right over this, and it doesn't mark up. It's called like an anti-marring shoe, okay? mess up your finished product. You put it right on top. It just clips on and comes right off.